Hi students, I'm Sonia from Vidya Guru. Starting a new session on current affairs. This session is for the month of March. That means I'm referring to the current affairs of March 2021. This session is completely in English medium. You yourself can make out. This session is short in English medium for our students, from South India, for our students from Northeast India. Those who are unable to understand Hindi well, they watch this session so that they can actually have better understanding of current affairs. The current affairs which are going to be there in their exams. If you are not comfortable with this video, you can switch to the session in Hindi medium. That is also there in the playlist. Watch that session. If you are comfortable, anybody can watch this session. Those students who watch our session regularly, they know that I select ample number of important questions, but for those students who are new to the channel, I'm telling you, the questions are very selective. We spend ample time in selecting these questions. Watch the video till the end. If you like the video, please do press the like button. Share the video with your friends. If they are taking any competitive exam, they'll see such questions in their exams for sure. Believe me. Subscribe to Vidya Guru's YouTube channel if you are new to the channel. Press the bell icon for sure. If you do that, you'll get the notifications of all the exam relevant videos which we upload. From here on, I'll start with the first question. You'll be super focused. You'll not be thinking of anything else, because till I wrap up, you have to learn each and every point which I'm delivering. Alright, let's start with the first point. India's GDP growth for quarter 3 I'm referring to. I'm not talking about the entire year, as the year has not come to an end. This is quarter 3 I'm referring to. Quarter 3's results, as per the government, they say that gross domestic product of India has become positive now, which was in minus earlier, and October to December 2020, that is the quarter I'm referring to, the third quarter, and what it comes out to be, that means India's GDP is 0.4% now. It has become positive. That is the super significant news for us. So India's GDP growth for quarter 3 financial year 2021 from October to December 2020, 0.4%. Let's move ahead. It is Khelo India University Games 2021. Whenever such a thing happens, because Khelo India Youth Games, Khelo India University Games, or Khelo India Games are happening, any sort of games, they prefer indigenous games. They actually prefer our indigenous games. They promote our indigenous games, India's games. That is why we have to talk about them. They are important questions. So Khelo India University Games, this time I'm referring to for the year 2021 only. Host was Karnataka, and if I'm referring to Karnataka, I have to talk about Bengaluru. So the venue was Jain University, Bengaluru, for our Khelo India University Games this year. The next question is, world's highest railway bridge being constructed over Chenab. What is important out here? When I talk about Chenab, I need to tell you that I'm referring to Jammu and Kashmir, that you are already aware of. But I'm saying it is world's highest railway bridge. World's highest railway bridge being constructed over. So world's highest bridge, railway bridge. What sort of bridge? Railway bridge I'm referring to, coming up on Chenab River. And Chenab, when I talk about Chenab, I'm talking about Jammu and Kashmir. The place is also significant. India's first undersea tunnel to come up in Mumbai. Something new has happened. You haven't heard about it at all. So because it is happening for the first time, it is new for all of us. So India's first undersea tunnel is going to come up in Mumbai. The next question is, from here on, I'll be talking about beauty pageants, as in there was a beauty pageant in which Miss India, Miss Grand India, such titles were actually given to the females who are there on your screen. All start with the letter M. That's how you can retain them in your mind. That Mansa was there, Manya was there, and Manika was there. Mansa, Manya and Manika were there, and what they have actually received. Miss India World. This girl has become Miss India World 2020, Mansa Varanasi, and I'm sure you're not going to talk about you're not going to consider Varanasi as a place here, because Mansa Varanasi is her title and she is from Telangana. The place they belong to is also important for us, as it was a Miss India title, which was, important for us. But I told you the place they belong to is equally important. Miss India 2020, that means runner-up. I'm going to talk about runner-up now, as I've talked about Miss India, Mansa Varanasi. Manya Singh belongs to UP. She remained the runner-up. Miss Grand India 2020. Miss Grand India 2020 was Manika Shevkan. Manika Shevkan is from Haryana. Whenever we, whenever we actually, look at any pageant or any show of such type, we all know that Femina remains the sponsor of it. This time, or, whenever it happens, I have to tell you, because students do not, pay attention to such details, that sponsors were, that means there were more than one. So the sponsors were VLCC and Femina. Such a question can also be there in your exam, and do not mark the answer Femina. I'm saying VLCC and Femina were the sponsors. Let's move ahead. New leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha. When I talk about Mallikarjun Kharge, we have heard his name many times. He has become the opposition leader in Rajya Sabha. What is significant here? Opposition leader in Rajya Sabha. The name of the fellow is Mallikarjun Kharge, and Mallikarjun Kharge is from Congress. Obviously, he's from Congress. That is why he has to be the leader of opposition, not the ruling party. New chairman of National Commission for Scheduled Caste. You have to learn it like that. NCSC. NC is National Commission. SC is Scheduled Caste. So National Commission for Scheduled Caste. The new chairman is Vijay Sampla. Vijay Sampla, new chairman of NCSC. Hima Das, we have heard a lot about this girl, and she has actually, been awarded many times, won many medals for our country, but did not receive that sort of fame what she was, expected to, or what she deserved. This time something, very good. I really appreciate such a thing, that she has become or she has been appointed as Deputy Superintendent of Police, and I'm referring to the Assam Police. So Hima Das has become DSP in Assam Police. Let's move ahead. Bridge connecting Assam and Meghalaya. Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. But if you wish to be very precise, the place is Dhubri. Dhubri is in Assam, and Fulbari is in Meghalaya. These are the two places which are going to be connected through this bridge. What is important about this bridge? It is going to be India's longest river bridge. The words are important. I'm not saying longest bridge. It is going to be India's longest bridge. The bridge which is going to connect Assam and Meghalaya, Dhubri, Fulbari, they'll be connected, and the river on which this bridge is going to coming up, that river is going to be Brahmaputra. The next point states Majuli Jorhat Bridge. Majuli is a river island. Majuli is a river island, or you can say that it is the largest river island in the world. So Majuli Jorhat Bridge to come up on Brahmaputra in Assam. Majuli Jorhat Bridge is going to come up in Assam, but the river is Brahmaputra again. I'm saying the river, the upper point talks about Brahmaputra, the lower point talks about Brahmaputra. The first one was talking about a bridge, the lower one is also talking about a bridge. The lower one is Majuli Jorhat Bridge. Let's move ahead. Mahabahu Brahmaputra. Mahabahu Brahmaputra initiative launched in Assam. As we were talking about Assam a lot, Assam and Kerala are being discussed a lot in my class, and even in your exams such questions are going to be there. The reason you have to find out why Assam and Kerala, why there are so many things which are being inaugurated by Prime Minister himself. Look for the answer. Mahabahu Brahmaputra initiative launched in Assam. Mahabahu Brahmaputra initiative. That's the name of the initiative which was actually inaugurated in Assam. What is the super important thing here? That the connectivity to East India is going to increase by this initiative, Mahabahu Brahmaputra. Understand the significance. When a teacher repeats something, it is significant, but my sole motive is that you can learn that difficult name because it appears to be difficult. Mahabahu Brahmaputra initiative launched to increase the connectivity to Eastern India, first thing. The second thing they expect, they are expected to do, that is the around area, the surrounding area of Brahmaputra and Barak river, that will be developed too. So the lower point talks about the same thing which I've explained, and that was the nearby area of Brahmaputra and river Barak will be developed by this Mahabau Brahmaputra initiative. Sagarika. Let's talk about the lower point, the lowest one. Sagarika, India's first full-fledged international cruise terminal, Kochi, Kerala. Now, general insurers are there. Look at your screen carefully and read them carefully. General insurers are there. Health insurers are there too. But what is important in this point, that IRDA states something for them now. It states IRDA, the regulatory body for insurance, IRDA states that all the general insurance companies, all the health insurance companies have to have accident cover from 1st April 2021. But it is mandatory and it is going to be a standard accident cover. I'm going to explain that again. I was saying that general insurers and health insurers from 1st April 2021, they are going to keep Saral Suraksha Bima. If you understand Hindi a bit, Suraksha talks about your safety. You can easily relate that word with accident. It is going to be a general or standard accident cover, which is mandatory for all the insurers, for all the general insurers and health insurers to have them. What is the minimum and maximum criteria here? Minimum sum insured in this particular cover is 2.5 lakh. Maximum sum insured is 1 crore. The minimum age to enter or to get this policy or such a cover, 18 years. Maximum age to get such a cover is 70 years. So minimum entry age is 18 years, maximum entry age is 70 years. Let's move ahead. Usha Rao Munari. When I start talking about her, you must be thinking what is important. What is important about this lady? She is an Indian economist, and I am sure that you have not heard much about her or you have not heard anything about her. So why I am teaching you such a thing? She has been appointed, she has become United Nations Under Secretary General. See, Under Secretary General is addressed as Assistant Secretary General also. So if somebody says Under Secretary General, the same thing as Assistant Secretary General. Associate Administrator of United Nations Development Program. The main thing is this Usha Rao Munari is important, has become has become super important for us, as this Indian economist has been appointed in United Nations Development Program. And what is the rank that she has been given? The rank is Assistant Secretary General and Associate Administrator. So learn all that about Usha Rao Munari. Let's move ahead. From March 27th and from May 22nd, CRR to be 3.5 and 4% respectively. What does it mean? If you wish to acquire information about that, you need to read the lower point, which states that in 2020, that means 2020, in the year 2020, cash reserve ratio was reduced to 3% of NDTL. Full form of NDTL has to be written. It is net demand and time liability. Net demand and time liability. If I wish to tell you what it is, I'm not going to explain it clearly, but I'm just telling you, read the word liability carefully. Whatever deposits banks have, they are the liability for that bank. Net demand time liability, I'm not going to get deep into it. I'm just saying that earlier CRR was 4% when we actually exclude the year 2020. When we exclude the year 2020, but in the year 2020, to give some sort of relaxation, to introduce liquidity in the market, they reduced CRR from 4% to 3%. Now they want, if circumstances are improving, they want that CRR, that means they am referring to RBI, that RBI wants that CRR should be 4% again, from 3% to 4% again, back to 4%. But they are not going to make it 4% straight away. They are saying from March 27th, from March 27th, CRR will be 3.5%. They will wait further. From March 22nd, they'll be waiting approximately for 2 more months, and then they'll be making it 4% again. Cash reserve ratio will be 4%, back to the one which it was earlier. In 2020, it stayed 3%. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It was reduced for a cause to, provide some sort of relaxation and to provide liquidity in the market. That is why they reduced it to 3%. It will be 4% from May 22nd this year. Let's move ahead with a marginal standing facility from here on. Marginal standing facility extension of relaxation till 30th September 2021. MSF rate, I'm not talking about it. I'm saying something else, that the extension was given. I am not talking about it, MSF rate. I'm not talking about MSF rate. Be careful. When you listen to such a thing, be very careful. I am saying that the extension of relaxation was given. Read the lowest point. You will be able to understand it better. It says the relaxation of 1% in borrowing under MSF was allowed till 30th September 2021. Earlier, banks were able to borrow from RBI 2% of their NDTL. I am saying earlier, banks were able to borrow from RBI only 2% of their net demand and time liability, but the relaxation was given. 1% extra was given to banks by RBI. So such sort of relaxation will introduce cash flow, will increase cash flow in the market, because if banks take more money from RBI, they'll obviously lend more money. So people require cash. That's how liquidity will increase in the market. What is liquidity? Cash in pocket, cash in hand. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That 1% relaxation is not there permanently. It is not going to stay. It is allowed till 30th September 2021. So MSF relaxation of 1% which was given, collectively it becomes 3% of NDTL now. It will stay till 30th September 2021. Let's move ahead. Motera Stadium in Ahmedabad. See, you have heard a lot about it, that it has become Narendra Modi Stadium. There are, things which you may have missed. That is why I felt like keeping this question in my video as well. Motera Cricket Stadium is in Ahmedabad. I know you must be saying that we already know that it is in Gujarat. The exact place is Ahmedabad. Why I am discussing this? The topic of discussion, it has become the topic of discussion. The reason is it is world's largest cricket stadium. It is world's largest cricket stadium. That is why Motera Stadium, which has become Narendra Modi Stadium now, is important for us. Earlier, as I generally mentioned, that it was in the name of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. The stadium was earlier named after Sardar Patel. Now it is going to be called as Narendra Modi Stadium. Let's move ahead. This is the memoir of, that's how we pronounce the word, memoir of Priyanka Chopra, unfinished. Unfinished is the memoir of Priyanka Chopra. It was in news, that is why I'm talking about this thing again. Author of Star-Struck Confessions of a TV Executive. Read the name of the book carefully. Peter Mukherjee has actually come up with a book, and that book is Star-Struck Confessions of a TV Executive. Author of The Lost Soul is the name of the lady, the person who actually won Nobel Prize in Literature in 2018. That is why Olga Tokarczuk becomes important for us. I'm going to repeat that. The Lost Soul is the book of Olga Tokarczuk. The super important book is this only. This is the most important question today. And why it is important? Because Olga has won. Olga won basically a Nobel Prize in Literature in 2018. That is why this person is super significant for us. Let's move ahead. India's first digital university, such sort of advanced things we really expect from Kerala only. So something of this sort happened again, that India's first digital university has been inaugurated in Kerala. Name of the university is also very important. The university will be called Kerala University of Digital Sciences, Innovation and Technology. Kerala University of Digital Sciences, Innovation and Technology. That's going to be the name of this university, which is going to be Digital University, and it is going to come up in Kerala. That is why it is named after Kerala. Let's move ahead. Ambassador for RBI's awareness campaign on cyber frauds and cyber threats. Satark Rahein. Satark Rahein. That's how we call this campaign. That's how we address this campaign. Ambassador for RBI's awareness campaign. Awareness campaign on what? We all face cyber fraud. We all have seen security threats. So to make people aware, RBI has come up with an ambassador, and then the name of that ambassador is, it is Virus. No, Virus is a Punjabi rapper, so you cannot misunderstand it. Virus is a Punjabi rapper who has become the ambassador for this campaign, which is going to make you aware on cyber frauds. Payment bank. When a payment bank becomes a scheduled commercial bank, it is the news. It is the news. That means it becomes super important. Super important for our exam, believe me. And the payment bank, which has become scheduled commercial bank now, this is Fino Payments Bank. Fino Payment Banks has become a scheduled commercial bank now. And the headquarters of Fino Payment Bank, which is going to be the commercial bank now, headquarters is in Mumbai. So learn that carefully. Included in, it has to be included in second schedule of RBI 1934. Such a thing, when such a thing happens, it has to be included in this act. That's what they have done. That is why I'm actually talking about RBI Act 1934, that this has been added in that act. Let's move ahead. Indian alternative to Twitter. Don't laugh at it. If you wish to check it, go check that. Koo app is going to be the competitor to Twitter now, and it is going to be India's alternative to to Twitter basically. And even we have a competitor to WhatsApp as well, and it is Sandesh app. Indian alternative to WhatsApp is Sandesh app. Sandesh has been launched by National Informatics Centers. Dadasaheb Phalke Award. No, it is not that. It is Dadasaheb Phalke International Film Awards. So be careful when you read the title. It is not Dadasaheb Phalke. It is Dadasaheb Phalke International Film Awards. I need to start from here on talking about Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Director and Best Film. So one by one. Deepika Padukone has become, was considered the Best Actress in Dadasaheb Phalke International Awards for the movie Chhapak. Best Actor Akshay Kumar for Lakshmi. Best Director Anurag Basu for movie Ludo. And Best Film was Tanaji. Let's move ahead. National Urban Digital Mission, NUDM. No, the full form is important. Obviously, it is not going to be there in your exam as NUDM. It is National Urban Digital Mission, which is going to create digital infra. Digital infra, what it is about, we'll talk about it. Once you read the page carefully, then I'll explain that. It will transform urban governance. The way urban governance is practiced, it will be changed, it will be transformed completely. It is going to be digital. That is why digital infra is going to come up. So National Urban Digital Mission, that means cities and towns will have digital infra soon. So digital infra sort of thing was actually launched by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology collectively, because such a thing is it falls in the purview of both the ministries. That is why you have to read them carefully. But when I talk about digital infra only, the question remains incomplete. I have to talk about their ministers also. Hardeep Singh Puri handles Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. He is the Minister of State, independent charge of Mahua. And when I talk about METI, that means Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, is handled by Ravi Shankar Prasad. Ravi Shankar Prasad is the Union Minister of this ministry, METI ministry. And when this digital infra is going to come up, it is going to see a question which is going to be there in your exam, that there was something which was launched by, they can ask you the name of the ministry also, and they may ask you what was launched to improve the governance in cities and towns. But what sort of governance is going to be improved? Digital governance will be made. Governance will be made digital now. 2022 will be the time when all the cities are going to have this digital infra. But cities and towns, all the cities and all the towns will have this digital infra by 2024. That's how they'll transform urban governance. Let's move ahead. Okay, the next question is RBI's regulatory framework for housing finance companies. Read that title carefully. What we are going to discuss now, it is all about housing finance companies now. RBI has actually brought some sort of changes, some new things have happened, and some older ones are there too. Minimum net owned funds for housing finance companies, rupees 20 crore. If a company wants to be called a housing finance company, it should be of the size, as in net owned funds of that company should be 20 crores or more. I am not saying 20,000 crores, so read them carefully. It is just 20 crores. They need to have net owned funds should be 20 crores or more. Minimum percentage of total assets towards housing finance should be 60%. Although it is clear what I've written here, but I'll explain that for sure, because those students who are not able to understand, what is written, I'll explain that for them. Minimum percentage of total assets towards housing finance for individuals, that's going to be 50%. What is that? If I wish to be called as housing finance company, my net owned funds should be 20 crores, first condition. Minimum 20 crores. Okay, let's move ahead. When we talk about the second condition, that is, if I wish to be called a housing finance companies, I lend money to people, organizations. But it says that if you lend money, 60% of that lending, 60% of your total assets, what you lend. So 60% of your total assets should be lent in housing finance only. That's how you'll be called a housing finance company. And even if you talk about the 60%, 50% out of which should be given to individuals for housing finance, that's when you'll be called a housing finance company. So the conditions are there. 50% should be of your total assets should be given to individuals. 60% to, I'm saying 60% should be invested collectively. 60% should be invested in housing finance only. It can be given to builders also. It can be given to organizations and individuals. Collectively 60%. But if I exclude individuals out of it, individuals will be 50%. So the lend money will be 50%, which will be given to individuals. Let's move ahead. When we talk about housing finance companies, we'll talk about them more. What is important? The important part is housing finance companies to have minimum capital adequacy ratio consisting of tier 1, tier 2 capital of 14% by March 31st, 2021, 15% by March 31st, 2022. If you lend money, the risk is there. You need to have capital, adequate capital, appropriate capital to mitigate the risk, to lessen the risk. So capital adequacy ratio, adequate capital has to be maintained, and the ratio of it is 14%. You have to make it 14%. If you are a housing finance company, you have to have capital adequacy ratio of 14%, but by March 31st, 2021, you have to make it 14%. They are saying increase it. Capital adequacy ratio should be 15% by 31st March 2022. Let's look at the lower point. The lower point states something else. It talks about liquidity risk management. What what sort of HFCs are there which are expected to have liquidity risk management. When I explain the term, I'm going to explain words and not the term exactly. Liquidity means, for those students who are not aware, liquidity means cash in hand, cash in pocket. That is what liquidity means. If HFCs are there, housing finance companies are there, and they lend money, obviously the risk is involved, the risk is there. So liquidity risk management has to be there. But what sort of HFCs are going to follow this liquidity risk management now? Housing finance companies are of two types. I'm going to classify them as the ones are, they take deposits. The ones which take deposits, all sorts of deposit taking housing finance companies are expected to have, all of them, but deposit compulsory for deposit taking housing finance companies. All the deposit taking in housing finance companies are expected to have liquidity risk management. But those which are non-deposit taking HFCs, they have a condition here. It is not applied on all the non-deposit taking HFCs. They are expected to be of 100 crores. That means their asset size should be 100 crores or more. Only those non-deposit taking HFCs are expected to have liquidity risk management. So liquidity risk management is mandatory for non-deposit taking too, but their size should be 100 crores or more. But I said all the housing finance companies which are deposit taking housing finance companies, it is compulsory for all of them. So I told you there are two types actually. The ones are deposit taking HFCs and there are ones which are non-deposit taking HFCs. Let's move ahead. Okay, let's move to the next point. The next point is about fresh foreign investments. Fresh foreign investments do come in our NBFCs. What I'm trying to convey here, if it is from a reliable source, it may have some sort of some other sort of percentage, acceptable percentage. But I am talking about unreliable. That means the term here is Financial Action Task Force non-compliant source or Financial Action Task Force non-compliant jurisdiction. If foreign investment comes in NBFCs and that is not following our regulations, that is from an unreliable source. Unreliable sort of, what sort of unreliable? Which does not comply our Financial Action Task Force. That sort of unreliable source can have 20% of voting power, 20% of the share, 20% of the investment. So foreign investment from any Financial Action Task Force non-compliant source, non-compliant jurisdiction in any NBFC can be up to 20% only. Let's move ahead. See, this was in news, or rather this is in news. Whatever you are going to see here, this was in news, this is presently in news. Even Bank of Baroda is being discussed a lot these days. They are going to be there in your exam. It happened earlier, but that was in news. That is why I'm teaching you here. Andhra Bank and Corporation Bank got merged with Union Bank of India. Andhra Bank, Corporation Bank got merged with Union Bank of India. I am not saying that these two banks have become or are going to be called Union Bank of India. These three separate entities, separate banks were already there. In par, they were scheduled commercial banks. Union Bank has become the anchor bank. It was bigger than those two. That is why Andhra and Corporation got merged in Union Bank of India. Punjab National Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce and United Bank got merged with Punjab National Bank. Canara Bank and Syndicate Bank got merged too. Canara was bigger, has become the anchor bank, so Canara exists even till now. Allahabad Bank got merged with Indian Bank, so Indian Bank is the anchor bank. Dena Bank and Vijaya Bank got merged with Bank of Baroda. Okay, let's move to the next question, which is about BRICS. When you see BRICS, what comes across your mind? Does that comes out to be Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa? It should be like that. That is BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. So BRICS finance, and talking about BRICS countries. So BRICS finance and central bank deputies meeting took place. It was hosted by India. That is why it is important for us, and the most important reason here is that chairship of BRICS was done by India. So India became BRICS chair. India became BRICS chairship in 2021. The host was India, and for BRICS Sherpas meeting, Sherpa, when I'm talking about Sherpa, it means I'm talking about the higher officials. So BRICS Sherpas meeting hosted by India too.